Hey, y'all. Welcome to Between Two Peers, a live stream show where the hosts invite a guest from around the known world to answer your pressing questions about life, the universe, and everything. And tonight, we clearly have the answer to the questions of life, the universe, and everything because this is episode number 42, which is excellent. This week, we're sponsored by Whiskey Neat. Yeah, we know whiskey's neat, but that's not what we're talking about. That's whiskey in a cup. Plain, straightforward, strong, and hard. Just like our guests, fights. I'm Anthony Rainberger Pinovic, Knight of the East, Viscount of the Mists, and I like making art too, and I like drinking with my co-host, my Wonder Twin.
So I'm the other half of the WonderTwins. I am Helga. I am from the West. I am a knight, a pelican, and a royal peer. I almost forgot the third one. Like it just went right out my head there. And tonight I am super excited to have our guest Kit from the East on. Kit, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Kit from the East. I guess OTC, and I fight. I'm from Coldwood. I don't know. That's awkward.
I like how Kit is just like, I have no idea how to do this.
I don't know what to say. What do you?
Well, okay, so we need to get you a couple drinks in, and it'll roll.
Yeah, because I'm awkward as hell.
I'd say we'll be gentle, but we won't.
Nope.
We're gonna roll straight into drinking.
I was about to say there is nothing gentle between the
gentle.
WonderTwins. All right, so with that, I'm going to remind everybody of the drinking rules, the drinking game rules. Also, remember that this is an opt-in game, and you don't have to be drinking alcohol to play along. So feel free to follow along as you see fit. The first rule is drink whenever a host or guest uses a non-SCA name when referring to somebody else on the show. Drink when somebody's pet appears on screen. Drink when somebody calls for a soapbox or the audience calls us on a soapbox. Drink when somebody mentions spite sprinkles or toe beans. And what is the guest rule of the evening?
To drink when?
Mm-hmm.
You had time to think about this one.
I know, and I didn't because it went right out my head.
I mean, we could say drink anytime Kit gets awkward about, being stuffed between the two of us.
So you want people to
I can't drink that much.
No one
I'm
can
gonna be
drink
honest.
that much.
I can't drink that much.
That's not going to work out. We drink every time we switch topics.
Oh God, like
that'll be a lot of drinking also.
Yeah, it will. Don't make me
about
make rules.
Maybe drink every time Kit takes more than 3 to 5 seconds to answer a question, and we can let our esteemed behind stages let us know. How's that sound?
That's fine.
That works. So pretty much we're drinking anytime Kit freezes on camera.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Put me on a spot.
All right, and with that, we're going to roll right into the questions. And tonight, we actually have an icebreaker round. Anton, would you like to describe the rules of this?
So here's how this is going to work. This is going to be rapid fire. We've got 8 or 9 questions. They are a simple choose one or the other. Okay. These questions are all submitted, I believe, by Sophia, or who are the other two? I see 2 other names.
Radar and Amy.
Excellent. All right, cool. So it's going to be pick one or the other. I'm going to read one. Kit, you're going to answer. Then Helga's going to answer. And then I'm going to answer. Here's how it works. If all 3 of us have the same answer, the audience drinks. If one of us has a different answer, the one with a different answer drinks. Very simple, very straightforward. Everyone get it? We good to go?
Better roll into it, Anton.
All right. First one, here we go. Mead or ale?
Oh, mead.
Mead.
Also mead. Audience, drink.
Next one, beach or mountains?
Mountains.
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 Audience, drink up. Crocs or Birkenstocks?
Birkenstocks?
I'm going to go with Crocs, actually.
Also, clearly, anyone who knows me is going to be Crocs. Kit?
Right.
Okay, the next one is Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Also, Coke.
Pepsi.
Drink it up. Medieval times or the Ren Fair?
Oh, the Ren Fair.
I'm gonna go with Ren Fair also.
I'm going to go with medieval times because I don't know if you guys have been there, but that chicken they have and that soup are really freaking good.
The chicken's pretty good, but you can't beat watching people in Star Trek uniforms pretending it's another planet.
That is also, I mean, I didn't say I don't like both. I'm just picking one, and right now I'm hungry, okay? That's just what it is.
All right, so the next one, lightsaber or sonic screwdriver?
Screwdriver.
Lightsaber.
Lightsaber. Kit, drink.
I'm just disappointed.
All right. This one should really just be a no-brainer. Pizza, New York or Chicago?
New York.
New York.
New York. Audience, have at.
My dad would freaking reach through the computer and choke me.
All right, next one, the 70s or the 80s?
The 70s.
80s, always.
80s.
Yep, it's on you. Drink up.
Why are you passing up Hendrix?
I'm not passing up Hendrix, but look at the entirety of the 80s. I mean, like, hi, you
That's
listen
why I
to-
said the 70s. I looked at the entirety of the
Yes.
80s.
I would
Oh,
like to
man.
note I was alive for only the last half of the 80s, so like
Yeah, I was alive for all the 80s, so you can do something for yourself. I'm not going to be the first. I'm not going to be the first F-bomb.
Oh, are we taking a bet on who's the first F-bomb of the night?
It's probably Kit.
It's between her and me.
I'm surprised I haven't yet and just haven't realized it.
Well, I mean, you now
Yeah.
get 3 chances because we're going to roll into the guest specific questions. And so the first guest specific question, Anton?
All right. So first guest specific question from Helga and I to you. How did you find the FCA?
Okay. The first time I was young, like late teens, and I had friends that dropped me off at Coldwood and left me there to go do other things. And I was completely alone and didn't know anybody. And so I wandered around, really enthralled by the entire situation, because if you've ever been to Coldwood, it doesn't look like anything else. It looks like you actually walked into something, especially when you're, 18 years old. And I hung around. I petted some dogs. I didn't talk to anybody. But I ended up hanging out in the inn with a bunch of people that would 10 years later be my friends, because my asshole friends finally came back and got me, but I could not find it again. Couldn't figure out what group had held that event or who it was. And then about 10 years, almost exactly 10 years later, actually, I ended up getting a job, and the guy on his lunch break, that was my boss, pulled out a helmet and started cleaning it up. And I was like, "Ooh, what's that?" And he's like, "It's a helmet, and you probably wouldn't like the stuff." And I was like, "Well, what is it for real?" And he finally tells me, and I'm like, "Oh, does it happen at this place?" And I had retained the layout of the site, and I drew it out. And he's like, "Oh yeah, how do you know what that's like?" So I tell him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's the SCA. That's how I found it the second time." So it was very roundabout. So I should have started fighting 10 years before I did.
Well, there you go.
Reach.
Yeah.
Reach.
Okay, so this next question actually is 3 questions combined, basically. So please hang on while I ramble through this.
Okay.
This one comes from Elise. How much pushback do you get when giving orders? Do you think that you would deal less with this as a dude? Do you think that you're taken more seriously with a helm on, or when your identity is obscured?
Okay. I don't get any more or less pushback when giving orders than anybody else does, as far as I can tell. It has a lot more to do with how authoritative your voice is than anything else, I find. Helmet on or off. Once I start talking, you pretty much know what I am. So the helmet makes zero difference. My biggest issue in learning to give orders was that I needed to learn how to do it, not that other people needed to learn how to take them.
Excellent answer. Excellent answer. Yeah, I think that was well said.
Mhm.
Next
Your
question
turn for a
coming
question.
in from Sammy. I'm talking here. I'm talking. Jeez. From Sammy, what's your favorite part of Roman history?
I think the minutia of the military kits, like the very small pieces of gear that you have, and whether or not it's truly functional. So like I've tried to like incorporate all kinds of like little pieces of things into my kit that are actual gear, and I find some of it is so useful that there's the scarf thing that I'm horrible with like actual names and stuff, but like the scarf thing that goes around your neck and it's like pinned with a fibula and it kind of keeps your armor off your neck. That is the single most useful piece of kit I have, and I only put it there to cover a gorget and because it was a historical thing. And I think that's what I like the most, is like taking those little pieces that you know are historical, using them, and then finding out like, oh no, this thing rocks. Like, no wonder they had this.
It's like learning how to do your leg wraps as a Viking the first time. You're like, oh, this is how they stayed on.
Yeah. Oh, how much warmer like the clothes are, like for real. I made a complete cold weather, like Gaulish, like, well, it's Roman, but Roman station in Gaul, like about 40 BC is the time period for it. So I made the whole thing, and then I wore it outside in the middle of this winter, and I overheated because it was so warm. It's warmer than my modern cold weather gear.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very functional.
It's like running around in the German dresses with all the wool, and you're like, oh man, I could like hang out outside all day.
Yeah, like wearing wool and realizing it's not that warm. It's just, yeah.
I
Stuff like
have
that.
slowly replaced all of my t-shirts in mundane life now that I'm on the snowbird circuit with linen button-up shirts, because linen is just so much nicer to wear all the time.
I have a lot of linen dress clothes just because of that.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, we ready to get into the group questions?
Yeah.
This first one comes from Lady K. What drives or motivates you to create?
Being fancier than Reinhardt.
A phenomenal answer. I'm going to need you to elaborate a little bit more. Are you a fancy lord? Can you explain
no,
what that means?
It started as a joke of, Reinhardt's usually got a decent outfit on, and he's fun to rile up. So it's like, it's very easy to be like, oh, well, he looks really nice. I'm just going to be fancier than Reinhardt. Like, that's my goal.
I think it's important to let our audience know, because not everybody knows Reinhardt, right?
Okay. So
he's from the north, and I guess the best way we could describe him is he is sort of the Canadian version of me. He just doesn't fight as good, isn't quite as handsome or charismatic or intelligent, but he's a great guy.
Yeah, he's the current Baron out of Dormont up in Montreal. So, but yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and he plays off it really well, so that makes it fun. So, but yeah, actually both this tunic and like another of my very fancy Roman things, the whole drive behind it was, well, I got to be fancier than Reinhardt, so I got to make this thing.
I think that's a great reason, personally.
It's fun.
I think that's on point.
You spite so just to mess with
It's
Reinhardt.
spite so. It's like friendly spite so though. It's
Of course,
just,
absolutely. Because,
yeah.
because
There's
he's our
no
buddy.
true animosity. Reinhardt and I don't hate each other. Please do not send messages back and forth about how there's some. No, it's a joke.
Everybody heard it first here that Kit and Reinhardt are going to be fighting real soon.
Fighting. Fight me, Reinhardt.
Yeah. So that means it's my turn. What drives or motivates me to create? I'll be honest, like I'm not allowed anymore to walk through merchants sections unattended, because what drives me to create usually is seeing a thing and going, "Oh, I want that thing." Yo, I bet if I got like one or two tools, I could make that for like $20 myself instead of buying it for like 60 or 70. So I go and I get tools and I get, materials, and I spend like $120, which is twice the cost of the item. But then I go and I turn and I sit there and I figure out how to do it, and I make 5 of them. And I give all of them away, and I don't have any for myself. And now I've spent $120 to learn how to do a thing because I saw a thing and I really wanted it, and I still don't have one. That's usually what gets me to start making things and create.
Do you do the thing where you make like a really nice one and you're like, oh, so and so would love this, and so you give away like the really nice ones? Yeah. I do that. Yeah.
I have like 2 pieces of jewelry that I made that I have kept for myself that were really, really nice ever, and that's it. And one of them was on loan to Duke Sean for like a year and a half as a payment, where I said he needed to hang on to it until he fought me sword and shield and decided that I didn't suck, that I was good, but that I no longer sucked. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say what motivates me to create. So I'm motivated by spite. And so I learned how to paint shields because I was stuck in an arm brace and lost all the fine motor control in my right hand due to 5 surgeries and then going off a horse at high velocity. And so I was very spiteful against my body about not having any fine motor control again, but also I was really spiteful about people that told me I couldn't. And then I really kind of learned that I like it. And so pretty much I'm driven by spite sprinkles, really is what it comes down to. But also the secondary part of like driving on that, and I'm drinking despite sprinkles, is that I absolutely love helping others with their franchise. Or their visual franchise. And so if I can paint a shield, if I can make a tunic, if I can do something else like that, it's actually the exact opposite of said spite sprinkles. It is the love for seeing other people excel and be able to give a gift that can help them along their path. And that is really what drives me to create. Once I've kind of like gotten the idea of how to do something, it's like first it's driven by spite while I'm learning. And then as I develop a skill set, it turns into how can I give this to better somebody else's visual franchise? And that's what keeps driving me. That's what keeps driving me to do shields that cost me 30 to 40 hours of my life. Because when it's gifted, that gift is carried throughout the society and gives them that boost. So like somebody knows them because of their shield, or knows them because they have a fancy ass tunic, or, and occasionally that you just got to do the art flex at somebody and be like, fuck you, I can do this. So really it's like this spite and love mixed together that creates the Helga's like muse, and my muse is a fickle bitch.
Super accurate.
Next question.
So the next question, this is going to be the most contentious of the evening, although not really as far as I'm concerned, because, well, when I read this question that had been submitted, I said, dude, we got to do this one. And Helga was like, I've kind of been avoiding this one because and I was like, oh, no. Like, if we're just going to be drinking and shooting the shit with Kit, I'm pretty sure that no one is going to take us seriously when we talk about this.
I would also like to note I dropped the first F-bomb.
Yeah. So if anyone's on the under over on that, there you go. It was Helga.
Yep.
So our next question from Anonymous is, and I hope everyone's ready, I'm going to say it. Why are Laurels bitches?
Bitchin?
Bitches.
Oh.
Why are Laurels bitches? I love that Kit's thrown under the bus first on this one. It kind of makes it so good.
Are they?
You get to answer that question.
I mean, you can always go with the obvious.
I would say everybody drink. That was a 5-second.
Yeah.
Keep my drink out because I'm gonna need to drink some more. Yeah.
Bitches be crazy?
I'm gonna need you
I
to
like how
elaborate.
she's like, I'm gonna do the simple answer here. Like,
Yeah.
I love how you're treading around the edge of the minefield.
Yeah. Well, I'm just like going through every Laurel, sorting them into bitches, non-bitches categories.
Why don't you name one of the Laurels in your not bitches category?
In my not
Just
bitches
one.
category.
Just one. Just name them.
Tib. Tib is definitely.
And why is Tib not a bitch?
He is not a bitch because he is helpful and critical without criticizing. Like it is helpful to have stuff torn apart. It is helpful to know when something's wrong. It is not helpful to be torn down for it.
So then Laurels are bitches because they can tear people down.
There you go.
Look at that.
Okay.
We got the reverse answer out of Kit. Did you have
Sure.
any other answers as to why Laurels are bitches?
No, that's about it.
so I'm actually gonna say I hate this fucking question. I absolutely love my Wonder Twin that he was just like, no, we got to do this. We got to do this. And I was like, there's your 1 point, dude. I'm going to say they're not. And I'm actually going to say they when it comes to learning, so our Laurels highlight basically the academic side of the SCA and the academic path. And they fall into the same thing that a lot of our teachers fall into, like growing up in high school and everything else like that, is you're going to get along with some of them and you're not going to get along with some of them. And it gets worse the more educated you are. So like in grade school, everybody's like, oh, my teacher's awesome because we get like naps and playtime. And then you get into like middle school and high school and you're like, I like some of my teachers and I don't like other ones. And so like they automatically get put in that category of that person's an asshole or I don't like them or they're a bad teacher. And when they're not, it's just a personality clash. And like the higher we get in the academic score, the more you see this separation is created, is either you love or you hate your teachers. And I think that that's actually what we run into in the SCA. And the reason why we see pushback is, are you asking for somebody to compliment your art or are you asking for feedback? And that's something that as students, we have to actually go to them so we don't set them up to fail. So there you go. There's my answer of I hate this question. And it took me all day long to formulate my answer. So like, cause I was just like, I want to rage quit this question.
Why are Laurels bitches? Laurels are bitches because they will seam check your garb. Laurels are bitches because they have nicer stuff than me and they can make it themselves. Laurels are bitches because they write documentation and expect me to write documentation. Because some of them really like documentation and I fucking hate writing documentation. Laurels are bitches for so many reasons. But it's also a generalization. Not all Laurels are bitches. There's plenty of reasons why Laurels are bitches. It just doesn't apply to every Laurel. That was what I had to say on this one.
I do like in the comments, people were correcting, can we use, a more gender neutral term for this? We are reading the question as submitted. We probably should have actually updated it to a gender neutral term. And so for those pointing that out, yes, you are totally correct. Also, I hate documentation and I'm learning how to do it. So like...
My first documentation for anything ever is 30 pages, all of which I had to like, all of my primary sources were in Latvian. It was terrible. It was
I would like to note that my friend Brid is like holding my hand for documentation where I'll do something and she'd be like, cool, where's your sources? And I'll be like, oh, here's all my sources. And she's like, why didn't you put those in a Google Doc? And then we'll like organize them and cite them right. And that way, look, you have documentation versus just like, you do all the research. Why don't you just put it down? And I'm like, because I'm too lazy and I do legal work for a living. And she's like, come here, pretty one. Shh. We're going to teach you how to do documentation. It's okay.
I already did that. They gave me a paper that said I'm really good at it. I'm done. I fucking nope. No,
I did
thank
my
you.
massive documentation. I entered a Kingdom ANS. I won a Kingdom ANS. I feel like I accomplished what I set out to do there. And like, if I don't have to write any more documentation than just like short notes to give people like little bits of detail without citing sources and getting crazy about it, that'd be great. I don't ever want to have to do that much writing again. I don't like book reports. I like banging on metal and making cool shit for my friends.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't have time to document. I got to do Pell work.
I love Tulia in the comments right now is like documentation is life, and I'm like, this is the reason why you're really good at your job, Tulia. So, however, after this, I heard the splashing, the most magnificent sounds of the Lady of the Lake. Oh, the Lady of the Lake asks, what is your favorite snack food?
My favorite snack food, probably blackberries. I could eat a fuck ton of blackberries. And they don't keep well, so I can't bring them everywhere. So when I do get them, it's like, yeah.
All in fat kid time.
What is it?
All in fat kid time when you get them.
Yeah. I got in trouble once with my mother because I ate like half a flat of strawberries that she brought home. Like, berries are freaking definitely a weakness.
Anton,
Favorite snack foods. Like, there's a lot of options here. I like a lot of snacks. As anybody who stays up late nights playing video games with me knows, like sometime around like midnight to 1 o'clock is when I break out the Oreos and the glass of milk, which, might I add, the milk cup. There is officially a milk cup in this house. It is the cup that you left in my house, Helga, the last time we were in matchy WonderTwin outfits.
oh
And
shit.
it is officially the milk cup. It is the exact right size to hold the appropriate amount of milk and dunk delightfully and perfectly every single time. Once you
So
feel the
check
Oreo touch the bottom, it's set.
Next time we're hanging out, I should steal that cup back.
No. You can't have my milk cup. It's mine now. Honorable mentions to Cheez-Its, chicken on a biscuit crackers, and right now I found some really good honey chipotle nuts. Big fan.
The Lady of the Lake would like it noted. He likes whatever he can snake out of my pockets.
Well, it's true, because the Lady of the Lakes is also known to some of us as snacks, for she bears forth delicious snacks on the battlefield.
Pretty much everywhere, actually. She is definitely snacks in my house. So I am recently gluten-free, which is really bullshit because it got rid of my favorite one of I'm not allowed to have goldfish or Cheez-Its anymore. And so I'm going to say that Snacks, or the Lady of the Lake, discovered that Costco has these little half bags of popcorn. They're like little like snack size bags of popcorn that are like a little salty with they're really, oh my god, good. And like if they are in the house, I am in that box. Like they do not survive. So she only gets them occasionally because I will just eat them all the time. Also, she would like it noted, friendship equals food.
Fair. It's a phenomenal icebreaker.
The Lady of the Lake does drop all the good questions.
Sure.
So, are we ready to go to the next question?
Well, that we are.
We'll see how awkward we can get this for Kit.
You didn't answer what your favorite snack is.
The popcorn that you get me, I answered it.
It was sort of a roundabout answer. You were called out. It was a roundabout answer. You weren't super clear. It's fine.
The little 100-calorie snack packs of this little popcorn that she gets at Costco, which is like the best. Okay, so the next one comes from Maneko. Who is your favorite person to art for?
Probably Blackfin. He definitely appreciates the level of detail that goes into it.
Like, what's the last thing you made for Blackfin?
We have this like weird free exchange thing, so I'm not sure if it's the last thing I made, but I made a Panula, like it's a Roman military cloak. And that was really interesting because I had some leather on it, which I don't usually do for the toggles, but that turned out pretty good. But I did it all, like I do it all by hand, and I did all the like all the edges, all the attachments. Fabric was period. It was, but he appreciates that. It's not like oh, thanks for the cloak. It's like, oh wow, the dimensions of this hood are exactly per this find we have. Like that makes it really cool. Like, and it's nice when people appreciate that because I appreciate it. So it's nice when somebody else does.
So he appreciates the nerdy aspects.
The nerd, yeah, but like the really like specific, like the annoyingly specific parts of it. Yeah.
I'm into it. I get it. I can track. So my favorite person to art for, so there's two answers to this, right? Two, because it's not just one, it's two. Number one is, of course, Kiar, right? Because that's my person, and making a thing and handing it to her and seeing her smile because I made a thing just plain makes me happy. Anytime I make a batch of things, she generally gets to come back here and take first pick out of that batch of whichever one of the things she wants. And I make if I make a little hoard of like 10 armbands, she's gonna come back here and just go, the one that she likes, which is totally fine by me. But I do very much enjoy harassing her because she never ever wears the things that I make for her mundanely. Like she never remembers to wear them. She'll put on a necklace and run out the door and not be wearing any of the ones that I made for her. And I'll go, oh, that's really nice jewelry, babe. And I make the saddest of faces, right? I don't know if you caught that. The saddest of like I'm like, that's a very pretty necklace. Because harassing her is my other favorite thing besides making her things. My other favorite person to make things for are people who don't know me and don't know that they're going to get a thing from me, which, just sort of happen. I wear a lot of rings because I make jewelry, and everybody is always like, Anton, why you gotta wear 10 rings? And my answer is always the same. Because if it's a really good day, I'm going to go home with like 8 or 9 of them. Because you get to see someone do something cool and go, I saw you help that person. I saw you do that thing. I saw you try that new thing. Here, take this because that was super cool and I want you to have it. And they have no idea who you are, but you got to make a thing and then gift it to someone as a surprise. And it's like totally a thing that they get to remember. And I've had some people who've been playing for a couple of years now who like, I'll be honest, that I completely forgot, who came back and found me, years later and were like, oh my God, like at my first event, you welcomed me to my first event and you gave me this ring you made and it was the coolest thing ever. And I'm looking at the ring and I'm looking at their face and I'm like, I am so glad you're still here and that you remember that and enjoy that. Because I don't remember who they are. But it makes me so happy anyways once I manage to hide my awkwardness about forgetting.
So awkward when you get to the point people know you and you don't know them.
Well, I mean, that happens when you're the talk of the town. Yeah. Helga?
So I'm gonna go with I really, really enjoy arting for my husband because I think he has 6 shields for me or something like that. Like he'll buy a new shield shape and just like look at me and be like, I could paint it. And I'm like, hard no. This is not how this goes. So I like creating art for him. He's also super grateful about art. One of the other people, I really enjoy arting for Her Majesty Aidenbelt because she gets really excited. Like I gave her one of my tunics that has all the embroidered seams and everything else like that, and she wears the ever-loving hell out of that thing and sends me photos. But beyond that, I really like arting for newcomers, like or random people that do good deeds. Because the shock value is amazing. And just it falls right back into like gifting franchise. It's gifting the visual franchise, and I can give a little piece of my time to make your SCA better. And then seeing that thing run around years later, and you're like, oh, I'm so much better at that thing, but you still love it to death. I'm really glad you love that. So yeah, very long-winded answer, but I like gifting my art to people that like it. Oh.
Do we all have to drink?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
When one of us messes up a rule, all of us drink.
Yep. It's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen.
I've been drinking anyway.
Yeah, same. But it's accelerating my drinking pace because I'm a lightweight, and that's potentially a terrible thing for all of us. But you ready for the next question, Kit?
Sure.
I think I'm good for this one, and then I'll probably be ready for another drink because I'm sure we're gonna get
Yeah,
Kit.
no, let's go do the next one, and then we'll do the next commercial.
All right. So, Kit, what do you consider to be your obligations as a fighter to your consort? That question's from me.
For my consort, is that what you said?
Well, yes, obligations as a fighter to your consort.
To the consort. Okay. Obviously comportment, which should be obvious to anybody. But also, if anybody doesn't know Alberta, they should. She's fantastic. But I think not spiraling down on myself. I can get very critical, self-critical, and it does not help her when I do that. And she does her best to pull me out of it, but it's also my job to not go there if I can help it, because she does a lot more than just keep my mood up. I mean, she's been there with water. She's run interference on my child before to keep him busy. She's, a lot more than moral support. And I think that pulling my own weight for that, or at least part of it, is important. Also, when she's doing a thing, to be supportive of that. She's a fantastic artist, and it's not always about what I'm doing. It needs to be about what she's doing. So if she needs me to be somewhere or do something or go with her, then sometimes doing that's more important.
Good answer.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if I have much more to add to that, really. Repeating the question, as is my norm. What do I consider to be my obligations as a fighter to my consort? Also, everybody drink. The dog just showed up. Oh God, and my computer just fired up a video because it just finished a download. Jesus. So what do I consider my obligations to my fighter as a consort is to maintain their honor through my actions, to be poised in all things when I am representing them, and I'm representing him all the time, because it's kind of like people know that I fight for Hans, or if I fight for Anton, or if I fight for any of my friends, it's really, I am representing them, and so I must do it in a way that honors them and what the gift that they're giving me of that trust, which means calling all my shots, making sure that I'm never losing my temper on field, making sure that I am comporting myself in a manner that befits the kingdom. It also means that occasionally, and this is going to be an odd one, is their honor overrides my anger. And this has come up once in a crown list where I had somebody blatantly blowing off shots. It still actually comes up to this day. It was kind of a defining moment in my fighting career. And I remember starting to get angry, and the next thought that came up was that my anger does a disservice to my consort, and thus I must just continue to comport myself in the way that I should, even in this situation. And I'm going to continue hitting the motherfucker until they touch me, because now they're walking away with as many elegant bruises as I can. I'm gonna try to spell my consort's name on their thigh, but I'm gonna do it in a way that never shows that I am actually starting to lose my shit. And that matters, because on and off the field, how I comport myself reflects on them at all times.
My obligation as a fighter to my consort. is above all else honor, right? Kiar or Helga or Arianwin, when I get to fight in Rose tourneys for Arianwin, trust me to carry their favor and bring it on the field. And it means that I don't get to have opinions. I don't. I no longer have opinions. My opinions are entirely driven by what they would expect of me, given that I am representing them, and that's the entirety of it. I often like to joke, and when people say, "Oh, you think you're going to fight in Crown? You think you're going to fight in this?" It's like I always say, like, that's Kiar's job to decide. Kiar's job is to point at the big fancy chair, and my job is to knock down everyone between her and that chair when she decides that that's what she wants me to do. And if she doesn't want me to do that, then it's my job to go out there, maybe with a sword and shield, and to show that I'm there to represent her and honor her, even with a sword and shield, doing my absolute best and not embarrassing myself if possible. But all of my obligations to her stem from being able to carry that honor on the field, no matter what, and acting on behalf of them with every step that I take. Also, I have said it before, and I think it's really, really kind of one of my favorite moments. There's like a really great photo from a Penzik Heroic Champions battle where before they started the fight, they asked everyone to salute their consorts, and everybody was saluted their consorts all day long. And when it was my turn, I walked over to the side of the field and I took a knee and I got to take her hand and kiss it and walk back out to the field. And it took a couple seconds longer, but like from there on out, it didn't matter what happened in that fight. It didn't, because she got her time that day in front of all those people because I was there for her. It's also there for my crown. It's also there for my kingdom. But I represent her above all else. And everyone there knew that. Small, but it makes me smile because I'm kind of a Pisces romantic, although we don't talk about that much.
Nice.
Commercial break, right?
Yeah, commercial break.
We'll be back.
Well met. I'd like to take the next few seconds to tell you about White Wolf in Phoenix. They offer narrow wares which consist of trim, belts, laces, garters, and much more in natural fibers. We also offer yarn and thread for weaving your own unique items. If you need the tools and the books to weave your own, look no further. We've got it in stock. Other things we have to offer are custom belt favors and trim made especially for you. Our fibers come in cotton, linen, wool, and silk, and with 45 vibrant colors to choose from. Come to our website at www.whitewolfinphoenix.com, and if you have a Facebook account, you can look us up there as well. When we can get back to events, stop by our shop. We often offer wares at Burka, Australia, Gulf Wars, Penzik, and Battlemore. You never know where we're going to show up, so be sure to check out the website. And thank you. Between Two Piers proudly presents Merkheim Horde. Merkheim Horde offers high-quality, handmade Viking Age jewelry. All items are made individually and not mass-produced. Woven chains are woven in choices of sterling silver, fine silver, and 14-karat gold filled wire, and they can be custom-made to your desired length. Arm rings are made in bronze and can be made to your desired size. Merkheim Horde strives to deliver the highest customer service available. We offer repairs for any items that suffer damage, and if repair is not an option, a replacement will be made. Be sure to visit their website. That website is merkheimhorde.com or facebook.com/merkheimhorde.
Two Baronesses is your home for buttons, brooches, pins, winnengas and hooks, mittens, scarves, and custom appliqued heraldic tabards and gonfalons. You can even buy buttons in bulk for large projects, perfect for the cotehardy or household livery. You can find them online at badbaroness.com. That's badbaroness.com. Happy shopping!
And welcome back to Between Two Peers. By the way, go shopping. We have many, many cool merchants that have sent us commercials. Support them by, liking, sharing, and then spending some cash. Also, I'm going to remind you guys that likes for treats. Every 10 likes on this episode equals one doggo treat for Thorbjorn. So hit that like button by the end of the show so we can spoil the doggo. And remember, anytime we hit over 100 likes, I send a box of treats to Baby Ninja for his cute doggo, which is always on Doggo Cam.
And now we come along to the striptease portion of this show. It doesn't work as good for my hair, but it's okay.
Those hats are so warm.
These hats were made by our friend Sigrun, and these are like the warmest hats on earth, but I'm afraid I might die because Primaris is real warm, even in January.
Oh yeah, no, those hats are amazing. So with that, we're gonna roll right back into the episode.
Yes, we are.
So the next question comes from Radar, who always signs everything SCA noob. She is a delight, and I cannot wait to have you meet her. What is the most random piece of advice you've received that has wound up serving you really, really well?
Okay. Oh,
Rank.
yeah. Give me a second here. Pack baby wipes for Penzik.
Mm-hmm.
That is a pretty strong one. Yeah, that is definitely a pretty strong one.
No. Anton?
Oh man, that's a rough one. Gotten so many weird and random
Jesus,
bits.
put
and
the hat
pieces.
back on.
I think one of my favorites is always apologize louder than you fart, which is super appropriate. Super appropriate. That might be the best piece of random advice because it's not a question of if you're going to screw up. It's just a matter of when you're going to screw up and if you're going to be accountable for it when you do and bounce back. Right. So always apologize louder than you fart. That was a St. Liam line.
So we're gonna go with mine is cowboy advice.
I'm sorry, but we need to toast Liam real quick.
We do. That is a great call.
Yeah.
Liam?
So mine is going to end up being cowboy advice that happens to be some of the best advice I have ever heard. Never kick a fresh turd on a hot day. Don't get into arguments when it's fresh. Don't, if everybody's tempers are up, leave it alone for now. Walk away. Don't stick your foot in it if everybody's already roiling. And so it happens to be one of my favorite pieces of advice because really, if you think about that before entering into any argument or a situation, you're going to be like, is this a fresh turd I'm about to have on my boot?
Strong. I have another really good random one that is just hilarious, and it was passed on to me in my vigil, and I often pass it on to the appropriate people in vigils. So in case you're ever in a vigil and you are elevated to the chivalry and I'm not there, anyone listening, here's my vigil advice. You ready? Once you're wearing your belt and it's white and you head into the portas, make sure you hold it out of the way because it's white. And you don't want it to get turned yellow
or blue
because people might think that you're a protege. So terrible.
I would like to note, I think all knights should have protege tendencies and actually do service. So, but that might be the pelican talking here.
I'm sorry that I can't just tell jokes. It's fine. It's okay.
I like how you're like, stop being so serious, Helga. Jesus.
Yeah, I thought we were here to drink.
I think
and make fun of Kid. We've been doing not nearly enough making fun of Kid. I'm just saying. She is the
agreed.
She is the talkative.
No, I think some of the best advice I've gotten is
Sure.
Yeah.
Doing something is often better than doing nothing, even if it's
Yeah,
the wrong.
I mean they meant it in melee, but that's still applicable in just about everything.
Was that Tiernan or was that Angus?
What was it? No, it was Tyrion.
I've heard it from both of them.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was Tiernan.
Northern Army learnings.
So it was
All right,
it was not phrased quite like that, but yeah, it was Tiernan.
I'm guessing that the Tiernan version had a little more profanity in it. Probably. Yeah.
It was a discussion in which I didn't say a lot. Put it that way.
I'm trying to think of like any other rando pieces of advice. Like I don't know if I can top, never kick a fresh turd on a hot day.
That's a good one. I like that it lines up well with the always apologize louder than you fart too.
Oh,
like,
you said that and I was like, and this is a Wondertwin moment.
It's all potty humor around here. That's what's up. Potty humor and dick jokes.
We have not
Are
dropped
we-
anywhere near enough dick jokes.
Are we adults or are we 5-year-olds? Yes.
We are fighters.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We are well-rounded Scadians.
We came up with a formula at one point to gauge the like approximate age of a group of fighters. I wish I could remember exactly what it was. I'll have to think about it and I'll text it to you. But it basically turned out like the highest you could get with it was like 7th grade humor.
I mean, it sounds about right.
It's about right. Yeah.
It's about
Yeah, I'm like, that's kind of scary accurate.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was
every
a
time
formula.
every time a group of fighters hears someone say, "You need to do your duty," everyone's like, "He said duty."
Yeah.
Because we're really all 12 years old on the inside. It's just how we get down.
Number one favorite or overheard is the king is out there doing the invocation speech and like, rah, rah, it is crownless. It is the sacred thing in the West Kingdom. And he goes, fight hard. The gentleman standing next to me goes, no, my cup would not fit.
Well said.
And I was just like,
The things said in line formations before the Leons at Penzik are just fantastic. Absolutely not publishable. Very controversial and fucking hilarious.
Accurate. All right, moving to the next question. That way
Yep.
we can keep rolling for some chat submitted questions later, which I
think
sure
we're definitely going to hit chat submitted.
Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. This question from Ash. Kid, what are your suggestions for those of us who are really struggle with our courtly graces and appropriate deference when serving as retinue?
What we have a problem with deference?
Struggle with courtly graces and appropriate deference when serving as retinue.
Well, suck it up. You need to do it. If you are there and you are playing the game, you've agreed to do it. You don't what is it? Salute the rank, not the man, if it comes down to it. Like it is what it is. You get through it. I don't know how else to say it. You need to put your feelings aside if you don't like it. And if you don't want to be in fealty, then don't take a fucking belt. Don't take the game, don't swear fealty. Don't do it. And then you don't have a problem. But if you're going to have a problem with it, when you're in that position, then don't be a hypocrite. Do what you're supposed to do. And then don't do it again if it was such a problem. But you got to do it. I don't know what else to say.
So my answer to this is more from like the retinue side versus the peerage side. Is that remember you are a character in a play for the populace. Is when you're taking on that position of retinue or when you're taking on that position of being out in front, or serving the crown, you are choosing to play a part in the play and in the building of the dream that is having royalty, at whatever level, be it baronial level, principality, kingdom level. You at that point in time, especially in court and especially in those other times, are there to help build the dream for other people. So thus, like, when you're starting to have problems with it, and I would like it known that I got told that I was too familiar more than once as a squire, because I've been very blessed in my SCA career. I've been friends with a lot of royalty and everything else like that, and it was actually a learning curve for me, because I was actually fucking with other people's vision of the SCA because of how familiar I was with them while I was still being a squire and they were reigning. And so I actually learned how to tone, like, in specific areas, you learn how to honor the crown, even though it's your friend sitting underneath it, because that's part of the dream for other people in that process. And you don't need to be a stick up your ass about it. But you do need to honor that position, as Kit said, is, honor the title, not the man, or woman. And it's honor the title, not the person, and play the part needed to help build that dream for other people, because that's what keeps people coming back to the society. And when we become too familiar or we forget our courtly graces, we actually take away a little bit from the society. And we also, especially as people that are peers and leaders and other people, and other, like, kind of the front runners in the SCA, other people will mimic our behaviors. So the more that behavior is mimicked, the more the dream slips away. The more we forget to honor the crown, the more we become familiar, the more the populace becomes familiar, and we lose part of that dream. And so that's the thing that I have to remember in those positions, especially when I'm tired or I'm angry, or like the crown has just done something that I'm just like, I do not agree with this at all. But then I need to play my part so that can continue going on. There's going to be differences of opinion. Occasionally suck it up and just get the job done, so everybody else can have a good time. Continue building the dream instead of just taking it away because you feel that you can put your feet up and relax. That's not actually how it goes when the game, when the play is on, the play is on. So yeah.
I think that's pretty close to the way that I would say that I feel also. The way that I always look at it is that I joke that, like, there are two really important things that you need to learn if you want to succeed in the SCA. One is how to walk away from a conversation politely when someone won't stop talking, because that happens all the goddamn time. Yes, I'm aware that I'm the one that just said that. I talk a lot. I know. And the other one is that the people who are best at this, at this improv that we have in the society are those who can turn it on and turn it off seamlessly when it's appropriate. The people who can be cracking up and laughing and joking with their crown because it's their friend and they're around the side of the royal tent and there's nobody there and it's just them and their crown, their friend cracking jokes and relaxing. And then a member of the populace who is not, maybe as close, walks around the corner. Being able to immediately snap from, cracking jokes and laughing to standing up straight and taking a half step back and, getting very quiet and allowing the crown to be the crown for that person when they show up. One of my all-time favorite examples of that, and Helga, you were there, it was when we attended Artemisian court at Estrella when we were prince and princess, and I need a drink because of that. But you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Also, we got called on a soapbox, so.
Oh, okay, well, that's fine. But that was the first Artemisian court I had ever been to, and I was amazed because we sat there and watched this court unfold, and people came up for awards, and when it was appropriate, people were cracking jokes. There were some people in the crowd who would heckle the people up there, politely and appropriately, and everyone would chuckle. But when the moment for deference and seriousness arrived, it just happened. There was no need for a verbal cue. There was no need for the crown to raise their hands to silence people. It just happened. And it was one of the most magical courts that I was in because it got to be this play in several acts that were hilarious acts and serious, somber, heartfelt acts, and it just moved between them without any pause. And that ability for people to know, like, this is when we crack jokes and we have fun. This is when we stop and we smile and we nod quietly because someone did something good and is being praised for it. And that turning it on and off really is, in my eyes, one of the best things that I've ever seen that people can do to make the game feel like not a game and more of a reality.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're ready to go to the next question?
I think we are.
Now that we've had the serious moment of like, be a part of the dream.
I picked this question out specifically for you, Kit. I hope you enjoy it.
Okay.
This one comes from Sophia. You're doing a perfectly period Persian reign. I would like to say that 5 times fast.
Perfectly period Persian reign. Perfectly period Persian reign. Perfectly period Persian reign. Perfectly period Persian reign.
Who's in your harem?
Like in. Okay. That's awkward because what if they don't want to be there?
So we are assuming consent.
Who would you like to be in your
who would you invite? Here, we'll reword it. Who would you invite to be part of your harem? And
All
they
right.
may say no as they're at their leisure.
That's okay. That's better. Well, Albreda, because so like, have you met her? And Fortune would rock. That'd be fun. Let me think. I don't know. That's hard. It suddenly occurs to me there are a lot of really harem worthy people.
You're just too afraid to say their names out loud right now?
Yeah, kind of. It's like there's a little bit of awkwardness to it for me. It's like I'm very aware of like not being creepy.
That's fair. See, and I'll say that the reason that I picked this question out for you is this came from the R-rated question options, and I was like,
okay,
this one I think we can go for because it's not really crass. Just perhaps shows more appreciation for people than you might otherwise be inclined to choose to show.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know. I think.
I think that counts as 5 seconds.
I'm sorry. That's just too. I feel that's awkward.
Kit's blushing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kit's totally blushing.
Well, I guess Fortune now knows that I think she's hot, so that's fun. If she hadn't picked up before. Maury would?
Yeah, it would be. Maury would be in your harem. He would be willing to be in your harem.
Because he wants to steal my fucking whiskey.
I suspect that if you were doing a perfectly period Persian reign, he suspects being in the harem would in fact bring him closer to your whiskey. That's a logical assumption to make. I think that's totally fair. That it? Do you got anyone else, or have we embarrassed you thoroughly?
I'm good.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I like her kids like move on.
Yeah, it's enough of
like
that.
kids pulling the ripcord. She's like, I'm out. No,
yeah,
save me. All right. Drink for punching out.
Okay.
All right, cool. So I'm running a perfectly period Persian reign, and I get to assemble a harem. There are so many names that I know, good listeners, that you're expecting here. But here's my take. If I'm the one reigning, it is my job to be the cheerleader, to entertain, and to bring joy to my populace. So my harem would start with Hansa and Ryu. I would also pull in Remy, Master Remy of the East. We could go with. Oh man, I'd let Baby Ninja come in there. I think he would do a good job and put on a good show. Because my harem during court, I mean, they're going to bring me drinks and they're going to feed me food, and I suspect that everyone was expecting I would have an all female harem of delightfully attractive people. But I mean, I'm gonna make it all the handsome boys up there shirtless, so that we can flip the script on that a little and make them do all the serving work. And I would also invite Fortune and Bianca and Daniela Rosa de Venezia to be the three ladies that head my harem and keep all of the boys in line.
I'm just imagining all those boys in like a really good set of eyeliner. Like,
Oh yeah. Like all cold out, like no shirts,
Mhm.
like some baggy little pants with like the big sashy belts. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm with it. I'm with it.
like I need you to arrange that for Hans, because then he's never leaving the house.
That's fair. That's fair. And yes, and we would make them dance for the amusement of the populace regularly.
I'm a terrible human, because I realized that like my harem, like again, if they wish to join, because we're talking about consent, is like half murder squad, half like art murder squad. Because I would have Anton, I'd have you, I'd have Hans, Ryu, and this is the weird one, because definitely a Ken doll in my universe, and I need everybody to understand, totally a Ken doll in my universe, is Duke Connor, because I think that would just be hilarious. Because that man is a silverback gorilla with like, he is the toughest guy in Letterkenny. Just straight out. And then I'd have Lux and Liz. I'd also put Morgan in the harem, which I mean, like, most of my harem then turns in, I'd have Ro, which means most of it's like art murder squad. And then I'm like, but a harem's supposed to be about like sex. And I'm just like, no, I want to like get rowdy on the field and then get rowdy with the arts and then drink with my harem. And I realized that I'm just like, oh, I'm making a retinue guard versus a harem.
Well, yeah, I figured that your harem, right? Because this is to have with you at events, is not your traditional harem of folks for you to use to your desires. But like, this is a harem you're gonna have with you during court, right? So like, it's gonna be a show, and it should be a show.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
see that Raven is saying that I forgot to include Seto, but like, if I included Seto, he'd probably show up late anyways. So
I mean,
Yeah,
I'd probably have to put
satisfying.
Seto on the harem so we can put him in like the almost see-through pants, a little bit of like coal, and then just drape him in front of the thrones. And then everybody's going to show up to court on time. We're just going to tell him that court's 30 minutes sooner than it actually is.
like an hour.
They catch on to that eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually,
You just
but
need to-
and
you
then
just
we
need
can
to
just
keep lining it up.
change. We can change like tactics. Also on the murder squad would have to be Bela, because that dude's a beast on the warfield.
Mhm.
Only if we can get Bela out there in like some sort of like fundoshi tiny loincloth setup that matches his hair. Because I love Bela, and that would be
Okay, I'm actually pretty sure that you could get Bela to do that.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
At all.
Like, he is like zero fucks about stuff like that. He's like, all right. There's actually pictures somewhere of him actually doing like the harem belly dance get up.
I mean, I'm just gonna put you on the spot and say, you said that one day you were gonna put me on the crown, put me on the throne. So like, if that ever happens, then I will be your queen, and I will have a delightful harem, and Bela will be there.
Yeah, no, this is happening, because
Alright,
you honored me by by winning and reigning with me, and so I need to do the same, because the WonderTwin reign needs to happen again. Just next time you're in charge of the spreadsheets.
I do like the dog.
Yeah, no, the dog is good. Thorbjorn Doggo is the best. Also drink, because somebody's dog, somebody's pet showed up.
Mhm. Mine's all sacked out in front of the like heater behind me.
Oh, nice. I was waiting for the cat to show up.
Oh no, because I yelled at him, so he's all like, "Oh God, I have to leave." Yeah, he'll be back eventually.
Oh, wait, I totally forgot. Like, the main head of my harem needs to totally be Scott. Jared, because he's got like all the all the perfect tattoos for it, and dude, can that dude move his hips? So, there's that.
It's just too easy. I'm going to leave the low hanging fruit. So we've made it through all of the pre-selected questions, Kit. Do you feel like you've been savaged, or do you got some more in you?
I'm good. I mean, I don't know how entertaining I am, but I'm good.
I mean,
and humble.
we need to get you drinking more.
I imagine that the West is probably like, who is this random person?
I mean, we've got 115 people watching actively right now. There are 115 people here for you. Talk of the town.
I would like to note
Little
she
Miss,
just gave you like skeptical, nervous face.
Interested.
Little Miss, nobody knows who I am, so I don't know why you guys want me to be on the show.
No, because
you know,
that's special.
cool.
Everybody should drink this, by the way. This shit's great.
It is. So why is Kit on the show? We can start right there. So Kit's a badass. Kit is one of the commanders of the Northern Army of the East Kingdom, right? And that stands to notice. Kit is one of the Unbelted Champions of the East Kingdom, which is no small feat. I don't think that there is a single person who has been knighted in the East Kingdom in the last decade who is not an Unbelted Champion along the way there. And that's a pretty big honor. And yeah, I see people in chat are saying you're very entertaining, Kit. So Helga, why don't you pick a question? Let's pepper Kit
so
with
the first question that I'm actually going to pick out of that comes from Thorfinn, because I would like to note that my regular co-host pulled powers because she has ultimate cosmic powers behind the scenes. And so Thorfinn sends in the question, what single event changed your life?
I saw Sir Matthew get knighted. And he was the first person I saw get knighted. And if you asked me to point out exactly what it was about it, other than that, I couldn't tell you. But it definitely, it flipped a switch in my head. It definitely changed my focus.
How so? Please elaborate.
I think the whole part of it was the whole ceremony of it. But a lot of it had to do with him and continues to have to do with him. And I think that that's part of what keeps it such a fresh memory is he continues to be an excellent example. Just in just about everything. And I definitely had a moment of like, no, this is where I want to go with this. Like, no, this is more than just I'm not fucking around anymore. And just like last crown I saw him fight in, I told him later that if I ever took a tournament, I hope I took it in the way that he fought that one. And so I think it's really, I don't know that it's a single event, but I think that it's a culmination. And you don't ever know when the start of something is. It's very hard to define the start of a thing. But I think I think his knighting definitely got my attention.
Good answer. Mine is actually really, really similar. And it's funny that this is a question from His Grace Duke Thorfinn the Cruel, because he was there and actually won the tournament the day that I'm going to list here. The single event that changed my life was the 200th Crapo tourney. It was on a number of different levels life changer. It was the weekend that Helga and I actually hung out for the first time and got to like shoot the shit until all hours of the morning, and actually like became Wondertwins. So that was the start of that wild ride, right? Which led into us reigning, and I would never have met Kiar without Helga in my world, right? So there's that entire half. And then there's the 200th Crapo itself, right? We Easterners are not attorney people, right? Like, we fight tourneys. There's a lot of us that are good at tourneys, but as a culture, we focus on war. Like, that's what we do. That's our favorite. Like, we go to Penzik and we beat up on the mid realm because we love them, because they are honorable adversaries, and we love to talk trash and have good clean fights with them, right? And usually win, because when you're talking about being an Easterner, that's what you do. It's just part of the culture, right? I'm sure it's part of what the mid realms culture is there too, and we can do that all day and laugh about it. But when you walk into the 200th Crapo, all of a sudden this is an entirely different world. There are posts to open. Everyone lines up, and everyone's kit looks great. And like, I had like worked on my kit a bunch, and I still felt super underdressed, right? And I looked better than I ever had before, but I still felt super underdressed. And I didn't know that there were toasts to open this tourney, and they're like passing around a glass, and before you fight, you make a toast, and everyone's toasting, and they're saying all this really cool shit. And I am so thankful that I had finished reading Sir Nigel on the plane out there to fight this tournament, because I had all these cool turns of phrase in my head. So I got to say this little speech and make my toast, and everyone was like, "Oh, that sounded real good." And I was like, "Cool!" Like, thank God I paraphrased some shit. And then I got to challenge someone, and I watched the way that this day went. And it wasn't just, "All right, everybody's gonna line up, we're gonna fight, you're gonna have, you're out in two," and blah blah blah. Like, there was pageantry, and there was just this feeling on the day that this was something important. This was a day where men of coat armor, women of coat armor would meet on the field in honorable, righteous combat and do this thing that wasn't just fighting, right? Like, it was a ritual, and it was amazing. And I looked at all these people, and I'll be honest, like, the vast majority of the people there were knights. Most of them were the Argent Angels, actually. And I credit the Argent Angels as a household, as a group, to this day, as being one of those people, those groups that I looked at that changed my SCA, because that was the day that I looked around me and I saw all these people, and I saw all these fights, and I heard all these words, and I saw all this kit, and all I knew in that moment was, I don't want to get knighted. I want to be a knight.
Drink, cat.
He's an asshole. He's gonna keep going. Hey, Archer, get.
And that's what the 200th Crapo did for me. So like that day, and Thorfinn won that day. That day made me look at this entire thing and realize, like, this isn't just about like showing up and fighting and getting good at fighting and making friends and hitting dude sticks and like chilling. Like, there's this ritual, there's this magic, there's this mystique that happens behind it. And I was fortunate enough to be there for the 250th Crapo, and I am sad as heck that I am not going to get to be there for the 300th Crapo, because pandemics are dumb. But bet your ass I'm going to be there for number 350.
Right now we're joking in our house because we're holding the Crapo at our house right now because we're a pandemic. Like, I live with two dukes, which means I lose a lot. Oh, thank you, love.
Yes, your grace.
And so we're actually joking that we'll just do like 299.1, 299.2, 299.3, and we're just gonna hold it at 299 until we can all like celebrate the 300th Crapo. So I'm
For
gonna
those
say Anton just
for those who
highlighted-
don't, but for those who don't know, the Crepeau has been running for over 200 months consecutively without interruption. Like
Mhm.
it's a thing.
we're at 298 right now,
I know.
which man,
had-
it means we've been friends for a long time.
And last year I had planned. Last year I was like, oh, 300's coming up. It's gonna be like in March. Oh, birthday trip. Got it. Cool.
It'll happen, and it's gonna be awesome. Like, we just got to get through the pandemic. So I would like to know that Anton totally stole one of my moments, which was basically meeting my Wondertwin, because he changed the trajectory of my SCA path. And so I'm going to use a different one. And I'm actually going to say that one of my defining changing moments in the SCA happened recently, actually. I have been very spoiled. I say it all the time on the show that I've been very spoiled within the SCA. And then again, when I became too serious, when I started getting lost in like a bunch of like my own head and losing myself to the idea of what I should be in the SCA, I met the crew of the Wobbly H, and they were like, "Oh, bitch, you're one of us." And just like yanked me out of this really weird rut and like deal with me when I'm being weird at events or anything else like that. And I'm gonna say that they actually changed how I see the SCA, because they taught me all to pause and have fun and like go be rowdy and stand on the top of bars and ride a bar down a hill and like do all the things that I would have done, but I didn't feel like. I felt like, oh, I need to be like this poison in my station. And a bunch of other nights were like, oh honey, shh, let's pull your head out of your ass and let's go. And so I'm going to say that that's actually probably one of the recent moments that's changed me for the better in the SCA, because they brought back a lot of this stardust. And then they just remind me over and over again. I love hanging with that crew because they're all about the fun and they're all about the best parts of the SCA, and not shoving it in people's faces, but being there when it's needed. And so they were a big lesson on like how to be myself again. And I owe them a lot for it, actually. Like, they're my boys. And they're also awesome. And come drink at the Wobbly H. Ask for a 7 and 7.
The Wobbly H serves two things: what you want and what they got, and they're
Yep.
all out of what you want.
Exactly. It's all about having a good time.
The last time I hung out with the Wobbly H, I got 7 people to try drinking Malort.
Malort is terrible.
It's the
Malort.
worst thing ever.
Also, I would like to note that I'm about to own a case of that shit.
Yeah, I tasted it and I was like, oh my god, it's so
What's wrong
bad.
with
And
you?
the impressive part is that it just keeps getting worse. Like the flavor gets worse and worse the longer you're sitting there. Like it just keeps getting worse. And I'm
Why do
sitting
you
there
want
going,
rancid pine salt? Just fucking get rid of that shit.
like
Jeez.
I'm sitting there in the middle of one of the crossroads at Penzic with the Wobbly Age crew, and I'm like, wow, have you? And I'm like looking at random passersby, like, hey, have you ever tried Malort? Have you? And they're like, no. And I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever drank. Here, have some. Try some. Here, give it a try. And they were all like, okay. And they agreed to do it.
Well, it's amazing how much of that stuff they go through too. Like, and like, or how much all of us at the Wobbly H drink it, where we're just like, somebody will be like, I'm throwing down, and all of us will be like, fuck. Okay, fine. So, but it is one of the best, like the best things that has ever happened to me in the SCA, was falling in with that crowd. And I cannot put into words how grateful I am for what they did for me. Also come drink with us, because it's a bar that runs around on wheels that we build on site.
The Wobbly H, one and
Yep.
only.
So you get to choose the next question out of all of them that have been submitted. We've had 14 questions submitted so
I
far.
know. I'm looking through to try and figure out which one I want to go with.
Why don't I get to choose a question?
I like how she's like, do you want to choose? I can get you the document real quick.
No, I got one.
If I have to switch screens, I'm gonna fuck something up. So don't do
Okay,
it.
so no, you don't get to choose that.
Yeah, you just keep drinking your whiskey. Neat.
It is neat.
All right, I got one. Here we go. This one comes in from Sir Maury. Oh, she's not flinching yet. Oh, there we go. There's the grin. She looks really concerned. Yeah, that's why I picked it.
That fuck. What do you say?
I was actually being nice. What was it like your first time as an unbelted champion?
Hard and fast.
Hard and fast. So do you want to elaborate? Do you want to tell anyone
yeah.
what that meant to you?
I was scared shitless. If he's referring to the fence cutting incident, I probably physically shit like 7 times before the fight, because I was terrified. I was in the reserve, which was unnerving because everybody else got a plan and I was told, "You're fine, you'll know what to do." No, I won't. I do not fucking know what to do. What are you talking about? I did know what to do. I just didn't know I knew what to do. Yeah, it was terrifying. I don't remember the fight at all. I don't remember any fight like that. I don't remember a single unbelt fight. And then it was over really fast, as far as I could tell. But my pulse still spikes thinking about it. Like, my heart rate is like through the roof right now. I can feel it just thinking about it. Every single time. It is the single best fight you will ever not remember.
For reals.
Yeah. It's another level you won't know until you get there. It's really brutal. And you need to know what you're doing. And if they put you there, then you know what you're doing.
So somebody asked, explain what the unbelts is for those that don't know.
I mean, you've witnessed it, Helga. Why don't you explain it as someone who's not an Easterner? Because we're gonna explain it one way.
No,
But
you
I
guys
think you
should
have-
probably.
Yeah, we're a little more
I
invested.
feel like you have an idea of what it is, though, and I want to hear it.
Okay, so are we talking like the singles battles, or are we talking about like the unbelted battle where you guys choose the team?
Team
Heroics
Yeah,
is singles, unbelts is.
Okay, because I've only done heroics. So, in the most Western way possible, I'm going to describe the unbelts battle. You take a bunch of hyped up unbelts, you choose a team, you then squeeze that team together with a lot of emotional investment. Then you add rugby rules with glaives and an ego to win. And that is Unbelted Champions at Penzic. It is like watching Rock'em Sock'em Robots, where everybody needs to prove how heroic they are and how chivalric they are, while they're also internally, emotionally fighting the need to skull fuck the other side.
I mean, that is simultaneously exceptionally accurate and exceptionally missing the point, right? Which is exactly what I expected, and that's perfect. And that's why I wanted to hear your explanation.
Yeah,
Because
that
if you're
would
gonna
be my
ask
very
me to
Western
explain it,
explanation
right?
of
Like,
that. It's like,
yeah,
well, that's an interesting thing.
absolutely. It's hard to explain what that means, right? So Eastern culture doesn't even really have the term unbelts, and I was trying to use it because the term unbelts forever has referred to specifically to the unbelted champions team, not just unbelted.
That was my first like real goal. Was I mean, I phrased it as like, I want to play with the big boys.
It's the all-star team, right? Like,
it is the all-star.
there's a couple hundred. There's a couple hundred unbelted fighters in the East Kingdom.
Yeah,
right? And
the
you whittle
weirdest
down
part was walking around after and having people recognize me, like, and know who I was. Like, people I didn't know. I had Cooper's staff come up to me and be like, "Oh, we saw the fight. We always watch the fight every year. You were in the fight." I'm like, "Oh God, I just need to eat something. Leave me alone." Like,
one of my favorite moments for that
bizarre.
was I think it was Ryu who said it. We're all standing there, and Kit was standing there, and I was standing there, and Ryu was standing there, and most of the unbelted team was there. And someone walked by, and they were really, really excited when they saw Kit. They went, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." you're the girl that's on the Unbelts team. And I'm fairly confident it was Ryu that turned around and looked at them and said, there are no girls on the Unbelts team. There are only tigers. And I was like, fuck yes.
Yeah,
That's
that got fucked up pretty fast. That was pretty funny.
But
I have to admit, that was pretty funny.
So Eastern culture, kind of like that's what you work towards as an Unbelt, right? Like it's the all-star team. You're going to have a team of anywhere from 20 to 30 people out of everybody in the kingdom. There's a song. There's a song for the Unbelts team, and it makes us all cry. And we sing it every year as we're handed out our champions tabarns, and everyone cries. And that's what you do. And when I was knighted, Annalita, one of the East's greatest bards, who wrote that song, sings it. She came into my vigil, and she took a knee and she took my hand and she stared in my eyes and she said, I'm going to sing this for you one more time because this song won't be yours after now, because you won't be an Unbelt anymore. And I cried, and I'm getting misty now thinking about it. Right. Yeah. So it's really, really hard to try and convey the amount of emotion that this single thing holds up. Sky, I heard her start and just like came into the vigil tent and just took a knee next to me and held my hand because we were just bawling. Everybody's crying. That's just what you do.
The guys that have been knighted that stand on the sideline and watch the fight, I've never seen such a mix of like anger and love and resentment and like missing it. Like it's all of it all rolled into one, because I think they're happy about where they are, but they also, there was something about it that you miss because there's nothing else like it. And the team itself is it's a very strange group. And I noticed this too. I think I mentioned it to Talon once, because I like ran into him in the market, and him and I started talking, and then like Maury showed up. It was just like a weird, like all of a sudden there was 2 of us, and then there was 4 of us, and then there were 6 of us. And I was like, I looked around and I was like, do we all just like naturally group together now? And it's true. It kept happening like over and over. Like you'd find 1 and then you'd find 2 and then you'd find 4. And then we'd all go our separate ways. And then all of a sudden you'd find them all together again. It extends past that fight, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
It is definitely a very, very Eastern phenomenon that is formative to being an East Kingdom fighter, and it's really hard to fully share outside of that, because I know that the people watching that fight go down, and they're like, these guys are all like, they're all blowing off shots. This is like the thuggiest thing I've ever seen in my life. But when you walk out on that field and you look at the dude across from you, you know that you're gonna throw thunder. And you're going to take nothing less, and they're going to expect exactly the same, and you're going to hug it out afterwards. And it's going to be the thuggiest fight you've ever been in, but it's clean and everyone feels good. It's a really hard thing to explain.
It's definitely a higher caliber.
So Helga, and other people who've been to West Ontier, do you know how like West Ontier has sort of like a more, at least for me, a more in your face, a little bit more aggressive vibe, but tons of love at the same time? Like for me, at least, when I went to West Ontier, dudes blew me up. Like I got nuked. When I got hit, they were like, "Brah!" And they'd knock me on my ass. And I was like, oh my God. And then they'd give me a hand up and hug me and be like, dude, that was awesome. And we would go and we would do it again.
Yeah.
Institutionalize that as the Unbelt team in your head.
Well, and that's what I get, because
the
there's
closest
a difference.
there is.
I think it actually comes from the mentality difference between West Coast and East Coast. And this is actually one of the, as much as we are Weasties, there is definitely a little bit of a difference where you guys have a little bit of more the team sport mentality versus like the West Coast tends to be a bunch of cowboys that think the same way. It is literally the same thing. It is just presented differently. Of like, we are our own autonomous little fucking penguins and snowflakes, and we are all unique. However, we all like mass do the same thing because we've all trained under the same households, or trained under actually a very consistent units. And then like we go to the East Coast and we're like, oh my God, they're all homogenized. And like, every time I just want to look at everybody and be like, we're all the same. It's a different language. Like really, it's just one is slightly a little bit more like Okay, cool. So the East Coast is a little bit more like, this is a team damn sport, and we recognize the team part. And West Coast is like, we are all heroes. Still a team sport. We're just highlighting each person. And so it's like the we versus kingdom mentality, I think, is the difference. Baby Ninja apparently would like to pop in.
Baby Ninja Cameo, bring it.
Okay, so they can hear me now. So, as an unbelt from like the swamp is basically how I describe this now. To me, the Unbelted Champions is that one thing that everybody strives for before a peerage. You dump all of your energy, all of your emotion, all of your will into it, and that's it. That's the pinnacle. Doesn't matter if you get a peerage, it doesn't matter if you can fight the next day. That's the one thing you always aim for. The one goal. And you do it next to people. And you know you're not doing it alone. That's what I see from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty solid for a person who isn't in that culture. It really is. I feel like we're dragging this one out though.
All right, so we're ready for a quick one then?
Go for it. Bring it.
Because we want an unbelt fight, Anton.
True. It's very, very true. It really is. The single saddest thing about getting knighted was knowing that I would not take the field for another unbelted champions, and that's a pretty big thing when you think about it.
I mean, it was really cool being an unbelt and a heroics champion. That was kind of cool.
I can't speak for the singles.
Having done both, they're both really freaking cool, and they're both really big honors. For me, enjoyed the Unbelted Champions battle more because I was part of a team that stomped mud holes in another team, and we got to do that together. I enjoyed my heroic champions fight more for Kiara because I got to salute her beforehand, and that was my win. Like, I was out there and I got to do that for her. Nothing else mattered.
I mean, I enjoyed heroics for frustrating my opponent. So each kingdom has different conventions. I'm going to do this one real quick. Each kingdom has different conventions. I was asked to yield twice in that fight. So the West Kingdom yields over nothing. I would like to note, we believe in points of points of honor. So like if you take somebody's arm, it's then a single stick fight. Like you'll see everybody drop their shield. It's pretty standard. If you leg somebody, not so much, unless there's a real big like training difference, and then you'll see it occasionally happen. But if you get like 2 points above somebody, you tend to surrender one of those points. However, my opponent was very much so in a heroics battle. Like if you have an advantage, he's already a knight, so he has 1 point over me. So any of the others, he then asked me to yield. So he legs me, and he goes, "Would you like to yield?" And like, my little Western brain, and I would also like to note that at this point I had zero refinement, like none. And it was just like, no, I don't wish to yield the fight. We can continue. I promise I got this. Fight goes on a little bit longer. I get armed. And he looks at me and he goes, "Would you like to yield?" And I was like, why would I do that? Like, no, I don't want to yield. And he looks at his king and he goes, "What do I do?" And his king stands out of the throne and goes, "The little girl wants to fight. I would suggest you fight, your grace." At this point, I'm an unbelt. And so he looks at me and he's like, and I'm like, "One piece at a time, your grace, one piece at a time." And apparently I said this loud enough that all of the royals heard it. So my heroics fight was against a duke because they thought they were putting Habeck forward because they didn't name who was going forward, so they thought they were putting Habeck forward. So they like saved up this like left-handed duke who's a really cool fight and a really cool dude. We got to chat afterwards. Really nice. I can't even remember his name at this point in time right now. And has been king multiple times, and so they like held him back to like put him against it. And so they present this guy, and then they put me out there as like this little 5'5" nothing unbelt, and the dude was just like, "What the hell is going on?" Like, I feel like I'm duped. There was a bait and switch here. This is not okay. But afterwards it was really funny because everybody was just like, "You don't have many filters, do you?" No, I don't. Especially against all the sitting royalty. Oops. So a quick question is, what is your favorite war and why?
Well, I've only been to one. No, I've been to Genu, if you count that. It's not an inter-kingdom war, but it's fun. So I guess it'd have to be Pennsic.
And why?
What? Well, because of the Unbelts fight. Sorry.
Also, it's her only one, so now she needs to come to the West Coast and do all the West Coast wars with us.
Straight up, clearly.
Don't you guys have like scorpions and stuff?
We've got scorpions and spiders and snakes and bears.
I have bears. Bears are fine.
Yeah, I've gutted a bear on field.
We shoot bears here, but okay.
Long story.
Okay.
So, favorite war and why? So this is a really hard one. It's a really hard one. Because I get to travel and do lots and lots of wars, and I have lots of reasons to like lots of different wars, right? So Pennsic is probably my first and foremost because as an Easterner, that's my home war, right? Like that was my first war. Pennsic was my first event. I had never been to an SEA practice, event, anything. And I showed up at Pennsic clueless with no idea what I was about to get myself into. And that is in large part why I was like, yo, sign me up. This shit's crazy. All right. But it's home. It's where I go every summer for 2 weeks. And I have a big ass tent that stays in storage. It's my vacation home. That is my summer vacation home. That's where I'm gonna be for 2 weeks. And I'm gonna spend a week being super lazy and seeing all my friends and drinking and relaxing. And I'm gonna spend a week fighting my ass off and also drinking my ass off and seeing my friends afterwards, right? And it is massive, and I get to see everyone. I get to see all of my friends that travel and all of my friends who are from the mid and from the east and everywhere. And then a couple weeks later, I get to go to Great Western War, which is my other home, and it's kind of like Pennsic on a much smaller, more low key, more personalized, chillin' scale. And I get even more fighting in, and I get even more pickups in a shorter amount of time, and I get to see all the people that I love there, which is amazing, right? And then you fast forward again, and I get to go to Gulf Wars, and I get to see all the people that I know there. I'd say if I had to pick one that was my least favorite, it was probably Gulf Wars, right? And that's only because I just didn't know as many people there, and it's like kind of rained on me every time that I was there. But that's okay. You still have a good time because even a bad war is better than no war at all.
You do that
right?
to yourself, though.
Yeah, I mean it's
The
true.
rain.
Yeah,
Kind
it's
of.
true.
You
100%.
did that to you. Did that to you.
It's true. But I mean, and then you got Estrella, right? I get to see all my friends in Aitenveld. Like I got so many people I love in Aitenveld, and the war there is so much fun. Their field battle is a ton of fun. And the way the camps are laid out and the way that the tourney runs right in the middle of all of merchants in like a town square, like it's super cool. So picking a favorite war is kind of hard. I can give you a billion reasons why I love each of the wars that I've been to. I can give you a billion reasons why I'm sad that I haven't been to War of the Wings. You know, there's a couple wars I haven't been to, and I want to get to all of them. I haven't been to Battlemore yet. What the crap, man? I got to go to Battlemore. Maybe we can get Bela to wear a pink loincloth at Battlemore. That'd be sweet, right? That'd be pretty funny. At the end of the day, like go to every war. Go to every war you get a chance to, because every single one of them is amazing in entirely different ways. And you should definitely go to every single war all the time if it's an option, whenever you can. Every war, all of them. Yes.
Unlike my Wonder Twin, I actually have an answer that isn't just a marketing scheme. Actually, it totally is a marketing scheme. I'm actually going to say West Ontario War because of literally how Anton described it. It is hard hitting, hard knocking, fighting all day long, doing pickups afterwards, and like you get sent ass over tea kettle, and then they're on the other side picking you up, and everybody's laughing. The pickups are phenomenal. And the cool thing is, so Ontier has a really, really developed Viking culture, Viking in quotes, because Viking is a job description, not actually a time period, by the way. But they have that culture there, and so the infrastructure is there. They have pit houses and built, like the entire camps are built in a period manner. And then this site is you drive off the road and into this ranch, and there's no power lines in the air. There's no light poisoning. There's no road sound, nothing. You can barely get cell signal. And it's in the middle of the woods. And so you're here, and at night you stand out on the field and the fog is rolling in out of the willow trees from the river. And you turn around to these huge Viking encampments or Norse encampments. Sorry, I'm really just getting better about using that. Like, and the fires are going and people are laughing and the parties are going, and you can get lost in the magic of it. And you can get lost in those moments, and it literally takes and wipes the mundane world away for days on end. And it's super cool. And so it happens to be one of my favorite wars because it's one of the most magic wars for me, because you just get lost in the experience. Also, Antir knows how to party, like hardcore knows how to party. So there's that.
West Ontier, I didn't get to because I was trying not to ramble for too long, but I agree on the points that you mentioned, right? Like the things about West Ontier War that made it super magical for me were that immersion and magic factor. The site is gorgeous, and it's really easy when the mist sort of settles in through the hills and you're surrounded by these rolling forests. Like it's real easy to get where you are and what year it is. It's kind of sweet as hell. One of my favorite memories is watching TR as Princess Mists play what's the name of the game, holding the stick, the stick tug
It's the
of war
Viking. It's the wrestling game.
The Viking wrestling stick game. Watching her do that with a member of her guard, someone had to hold her coronet, and I think it was I forget who it was. He's so much bigger than her, and like it's this idyllic moment. It's misty and it's dark and it's torchlit, and here she is in her pretty dress with one of her guardsmen playing this tug of war game, and it was just this moment out of time where the Norse attired princess is playing this wrestling game and beats her guardsman, and everybody lost their shit, and it was so good. It was this moment that just fell out of time somehow randomly, and it just made sense and was just the right place to be. Also, the fighting is brutal in the best sense of the word. I love it. Sorry, I'll stop. I just love wars because I see all my friends and I miss them a lot right now.
Yeah, for reals. Oh my god, the first couple of wars after all the pandemic restrictions lift. Whew.
I was packing to leave for Gulf Wars when they locked everything down. Literally, I was like, I had all my stuff ready, and I was like, babe, should I start loading the car? Or should I wait? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wait because the minute I put the first bag in the car, they're gonna cancel it.
I still have all my Southwest miles from it.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pick another question before we start crying about missing our wars.
Yeah, seriously.
No, I just messed up my question. Here it is. All right, cool, got it. I don't know what I'm doing.
Will you stop messing that shit up? Seriously.
I can't be trusted with a computer anymore. I've been drinking heavily because Kit pauses too much. All right, I'm blaming Kit. Everything is Kit's fault. Do we all agree? Yeah. Kit, from Crystal Leak. If you reigned and could create your own award, what would it be called and what would it be for?
I don't know what it would be called, but it would be for the best attempt at period garb for someone who's been in under 2 years.
Okay, so like newbie bling.
Yeah, like newly in, but somebody who's actually put the effort in to, and that's not knocking anybody who's, got a cotton apron dress because that's what they have. And that's what they had for the first 3 years. Like, frick, there's a picture of me on Facebook this week in fucking plastic armor. So don't worry about it. It's fine. But I have also seen somebody who's been to literally 3 events walk in like a period 11th century Finnish outfit where I was like, where did you even find the research for this? Holy shit. You made it for your entire family. Like, I think there should be like an on the spot award for that more than just like pat, 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 good job. Like, that should be a thing. because there's some people who go at it really hard, and those are the people you want to keep around. Well, you want to keep everybody around, frankly, but you want to, like, the people who are willing to put that much effort into it, those are the people who are going to make the entire experience richer for everyone.
So my answer for this is, I would actually like everybody drink, because I'm gonna say in the West, the kingdom is old enough that we pretty much have the awards for it. And so one of the things that Anton and I got to do while reigning, also drink for that, is that we got to go through and like he and I spent time looking at the old awards and then choosing like, cool, why isn't this award used? Why isn't this one used? And so what I would say is, in the West, I wouldn't create another award. I would start using some of the ones that have been forgotten in the like the new raw light. Like, this is an awesome thing. It should go back out. Like, how can we award this thing so it turns back into what it was meant to be? Because we've got a ton on the books that don't get used because they get made for one reign and then they don't get carried over to the next one. And 3 reigns makes a tradition, and 3 reigns makes cultural knowledge. And so if you think that you can create an award, look at like the long run of that award and make sure that award is used for multiple reigns, because then it turns into a normal item. So that's what I would say, is that I'd go back and use it, because there's so many cool awards about like kit use and persona development and service and just all the cool things. Like we've got the Paragons of Merriment. Like, that award is awesome.
That
and
word is so cool.
I want to be one day. I want to be cool enough to get that before my WonderTwin does.
Well, I mean, that's likely, because everyone likes you more than me, anyways.
I was
get
about to say,
excited
you got the
about, like,
Centurion before I did. So
it's true. I mean,
I
Centurion,
actually like Baby Ninja best.
Centurion, the fuck up. Yeah. Baby Ninja hasn't
Everybody
talked
fights
shit
for
yet.
Baby
Give him
Ninja.
time. Give him time. It's cool.
No, he seems cool. I like that he reserves for what he says for when it really matters.
And we just run our
Very
fucking mouths. It's fine.
Poignant.
It's cool.
Yeah,
You need
so I'm
all these
saying.
things in your life. You
I
need all
mean,
these
it is the
things.
Not enough
WonderTwin
to
powers.
drink. I'm ready for a
I
fight.
mean, there's-
Drive the fucking however many hours up here and fucking fight me. There.
I'm
Kit's
sorry.
getting sassy.
I'm sorry, Unbelt. You want some renown? I'm right here.
I'm right
Come
fucking
get it.
here. You know what? I'll go visit my parents. I'll high five my dad, and then I'll come kick your ass. How's that sound?
Bet. Bet. No hesitation. I haven't been in armor since Estrella.
Good. It should be an excellent shit show between the two of us.
I will whoop that ass. It's fine. But like, yeah, like old Western awards, like I would fucking like shit my pants if I ever got the Great Muckin' Club. Are you kidding me? That's like the coolest award. What about, or like the Battered Helm? Come on, that shit's amazing. There's so many cool old awards like that.
Yeah.
As far
So
as like
the
making
Great Muckin'
awards,
Club, by the way, is for providing an epic fucking beatdown. The Battered Helm is for the opposite, is taking the epic fucking beatdown.
and they're old awards. They're like what, 30, 40 years old at a minimum, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and they have the original pieces with them.
Yeah. They're like they're literally like these amazing artifacts of power in my brain, right? Like if I got to hold the Great Muckin' Club, oh my god, who has held this before me? This this ridiculous thuggish piece of fucking wood. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's a club with a giant nail driven through it.
It's a nail bat. It's a big ass nail bat. It's the best. Kiara and I got to make an award that recognized people who just kept doing the thing, which was awesome. There's someone in chat who has the only copy of an award that I made accidentally because I got thrown under a bus when I was joking around and the heralds found out and it went on the books. The Order of the Blade of Grass, that happened. That's a thing. Yeah, that's right there. Fergus in chat. Fergus, I am the muse of poor choices, he says. Yeah. There's not a lot of situations in which you need to make new awards. There really aren't. I stand by the one that we did, and I mean, I mean, Fergus, you like grass have many qualities. It wasn't supposed to be an award, but now it has happened. And I think he's actually going to turn that blade of grass that he was awarded from the field of Penzik. Oh, lo, that many years ago. He's going to burn that thing and turn it into ash and make reliquaries with it. I bet. 'Cause he's
I mean,
smart.
That's how you make money, right?
How you do it. That's super how you do it.
Reliquaries?
But
Yeah, until the restoration, yeah.
I think there's lots of ways that Royals can recognize whether it's official awards or not. I think there's a certain amount of ego involved with making an award because it's the award that you made, and you kind of need to separate that ego to decide if that award needs to be made and it should be an award, or if you should just recognize the person. You don't need to make an award to recognize someone. You can give them a token. You can call them into court and give them a title. There's a lot of options that you have. Yeah, I think for me, if I had to make an award, it would be along the lines of the Muckin Club or the Battered Helm. It would be for field theatrics, because in a tournament, there's always a winner, there's always a loser. There's one guy who's going to stay standing, and there's one guy who's going to hit the ground. And it doesn't matter if you're the guy standing or if you're the guy who hit the ground. You can still be the better showman in either of those positions. And when you can make losing an amazing show, or if you can make winning an amazing show, no matter how good a fighter you are, there's a showmanship that I personally adore. Like if you mirror an attorney and you hit me, I'm gonna hit the ground, and I'm gonna hit the ground good because you earned that, right? And not only do you earn that, but everybody watching now knows that you won and gets to grin because my last part in that bout is to hit the ground and let everybody know that you bested me and make everybody entertained, right? Like I already lost. Everything else is cool. It's fine. So that would be my go-to. Would be that. I don't know what I would name it. I'd have to come up with one.
So we're just under 2 hours, and so I'm going to suggest wrapping it up with one question for Kit, and then we can move it over to the Discord where we can shoot the shit with a bunch of people and hang out for a couple more hours. Does that sound good for you guys?
What the fuck? I got most of a bottle of Glenlivet left, so.
I mean, or we can just start asking you rando questions, and then it will live on the internet forever.
I've really reached that point. I don't give a fuck anymore.
Okay. So my question to you then is, what the fuck is up with this Nutella thing?
My son wants to eat Nutella with a spoon, and my friends are assholes.
Oh, it literally is that simple?
Yeah, he wanted to eat Nutella with a spoon, and I said no because I'm a responsible parent, and I don't let him just eat Nutella with a spoon. And I put it online because it was funny, because his response to me was, well, I did it while you weren't looking, which... Granted, part of me is like, damn you, and then part of me is like, why did you tell me? Like, you're supposed to be mine. You're sneakier than this. Like, stop fucking up. And so anyway, I thought it was funny. So I put it online, and everybody's like, you should let him eat it with a spoon. And I'm like, yeah, because diabetes is funny. And so then they're like, you know what we should do? We should drop ship fucking cases of Nutella to Kit because we think this shit's funny. So random shipments of Nutella show up at my house to my very excited 10-year-old. And when he's like, who's shipping it? I have to tell him things like Tiernan or Tiberius, upstanding members of the society who are very responsible, like members of command and heavy fighters and peers who are encouraging the confectionery sugar delinquencies of a fucking minor. And it's enough of this shit. Fucking awful. People are terrible. These are my asshole friends.
I mean,
your friends are assholes. I concur. Yeah. 100%.
I mean, at least it doesn't go bad. Really, there's not really an expiration date on it, so you can just...
I'm like, what do I do with all this Nutella? Like, I could bring it to the food bank, but the food bank needs real food, like vegetables and rice, not fucking jars of hazelnut chocolate, you motherfuckers. People are allergic to nuts. I don't need to bring this to the food bank. You need to stop drop shipping me Nutella. Like that is what needs to happen.
You have the
You
perfect
guys.
kinds of fundraiser. It's not Jello wrestling, it's Nutella wrestling. Like, you could make a fortune for some like charity out there by buying tickets. Like, at this point, you got a kiddie pool's worth.
But Jesus, my 10-year-old doesn't need to be part of that. Like,
Well, of course, your 10-year-old should not be part of the Nutella wrestling thing. Like, that's
no. Look, I'm very worked up now. I need more whiskey.
okay. Anton, you need to come up with a on the fly question then, or pick one from the list so we can like wind her down before we go hang and chat.
On the fly question.
Yeah.
If you could get one-on-one training with any fighter for a full weekend, who would it be?
Anybody?
Anybody.
Farrell.
Strong choice. Strong choice. For those who don't know, Farrell is an Easterner and is perhaps the greatest warlord of Eastern history.
Because it's one-on-one training is fantastic for singles, but let's face it, I'm not always singles focused.
Not always.
Not always.
I like how Kit's just like super dead serious with the dark background, just like fuck with me.
And I'm over here like,
I don't know. You've been in Florida for a long time, so I mean,
true. I've been in Trimaris for quite some time. I have not gotten enough time to socialize with the locals.
I have an extra bedroom. You literally could be here anytime. Also, your house moves.
My house does move. My house is not moving to the Great White North in January because my house is a metal box.
We heat this one. You could come inside.
We don't need to heat this one. It's nice out.
I'm just like, I need popcorn right now.
Yeah.
The more
I
I
need
drink, the
popcorn,
more
too.
shit I talk. It's also
mean,
whiskey. It's
I'm
whiskey.
looking
So I
forward to
get
this level. Of
fighty, and then fucking I'm like, so fucking DNA test I took. I'm like 87% French Canadian fur trader settled. Like, how specific do you need to get with me? Like, are you fucking calling me up? Yeah, I know I'm Canadian. Thank you. The rest of it is Irish. And the more I drink, the more my Irish is like, hold on, I got this.
I mean, that is actually obvious. So I'm gonna answer the question and say if I can have a full weekend training with somebody, I'm actually gonna take Sagan, because I'm again spoiled in the people that I get to interact with, and I want to pick his brain. I want to sit there and talk fighter analysis. I want to talk about how he sees the fight, how he works with students. I would want a weekend with him so I could be a better trainer for the next generation. Anton, what's your answer?
It's a really hard one for me. Obviously, like I'm a glaive guy, right? Like I'm a two-handed weapon guy, and I have gotten to spend at least a little bit of time with most of the folks that are out there that are really good two-handed weapon guys. I think I'm going to take the easy route here and go with Duke Sean, because I would really love to work on my sword and shield more. And he's one of the few people that I actually enjoy trying to learn sword and shield from. Plus, Sean's awesome and he's my friend. And if I get to spend a weekend with a friend and learn a lot of stuff, especially on the heels of 2020, yo, I am so about that life right now. You have no idea.
I'll show up the same weekend. We can all hang out. There'll be hot wings and a lot of stick.
I'm about it. We'll invite you too, Kit, even though you're
That's
not
good.
usually a singles fighter.
But there's 4 of us. We can have a small
You're the
man.
one saying that. I'm not saying that. You say that.
You got another question, Helga? Or are we
Well, I
getting
was
ready
actually
to
about to
wrap it
say, I
up?
think we're at 2 hours, so it's actually a really good time to wrap it up and go hang out on the Discord.
I think that makes
Yeah,
perfect
we've wound Kit down, Kit down a little bit, and then like now we can get her sassy on the Discord.
Yeah, we can take her to somewhere that we're not recording her and broadcasting live to the public, and let her continue drinking.
Oh,
and
now
being
I'm out of
asshole.
hand. All right.
No, you're not out of hand. We're saying that we're figuring we should
We're
take you
just-
off somewhere private and let you get out of hand now.
Oh,
Yeah.
'Cause that's what's up.
I mean,
fucking-
that's part of being taken care of by the WonderTwins. Is we're gonna get you in just the right amount of trouble, and then we're gonna go cause more trouble.
yeah. Is Baby Ninja coming? Because if he's not, I'm not interested.
Baby Ninja, I believe you have a fan club now.
You're obligated now, baby ninja. That's what's
You're
up.
stuck with us, man.
That's how it goes.
Okay, so with that, what I'm gonna do is wrap up the show because we now know that Kit wants to chew on Baby Ninja. That's where we're just gonna take this. Is that Baby Ninja is gonna be a rag doll at that point in time because Kit is just in the mood to like snatch him up and keep him tucked underneath an arm. This is how it's gonna go. There's gonna be like those long pets where his little eyebrows get pulled back. And she can't tell me I'm wrong either because she spit her drink and then nodded.
Mostly, I'm just picturing Kit throwing Baby Ninja into some sort of pit in her basement and telling him to put the fucking lotion in the basket. So like that's
Pretty
what
much.
We have basements. We have root cellars.
Baby Ninja, what are your opinions on root cellars? Baby
I just see
Ninja?
Baby Ninja like up at the root cellar doors, and she's got like the pitchfork handle through the outside door. So all he has is like that horror movie rattle.
Yeah, I hope you like banjos. Oh, great! Get North Country banjos. It's the same thing, but with a lot of A after. It's fine.
I'm
We're
actually
in a very,
pretty-
very, very striking change of pace. All of a sudden, I'm the adult supervision, even though I've given up on my fancy medieval glasses and I'm now drinking beer out of cans. I'm
I'm
really
gonna
glad that everyone-
literally go with the fact that I think Baby Ninja is scare-roused right now.
I'm going to thank everybody for showing up. I'm going to hope that a lot of you are going to come and hang out in Discord and watch this shit show evolve even further.
Oh yeah, it's about
Kit,
to
do you have any shout outs or anything else you want to give as we wrap things up today?
get.
Yep. I am going to shout out to Glenn Livet, who makes a fantastic Caribbean Reserve. White Wolf and Phoenix, who make fantastic thread, and you should absolutely order from them. I do not know them personally in any way. I just am a huge fan. And also, fucking fight me, Reinhardt.
Fucking fight me, Reinhardt, folks. You heard it here first. Fucking fight me, Reinhardt, says Kit. So Reinhardt, get on that, bro.
Got it.
I mean, how is he getting on that?
If he's lucky with a stick.
Not helping there.
I was leaving that as ambiguous as I possibly could just for you, Helga.
Rather, what would be
We
your
can
shout
meet
out?
each other at that
So
town
Helga and
right
I-
at the border in Vermont where you can like talk to each other from across the border, and we'll have a fucking spear duel if that's what it comes to.
Put a barrier up, fights at the barrier like bosses across the
Mhm.
board. That would be incredible. So there's a team shout out for me and Helga for sure, because I'll have everyone note that one of the chains that each of us are wearing and the hats that each of us are wearing are made by our good friend Sigrun, who was forced to choose her name in my RV very, very hastily because we said, you're getting your AOA. We're giving it to you later. You need a name or we're going to pick one. So Sigrun does amazing work. Thanks, Sigrun, for making us look cool. I want to give a super quick shout out as well to Linen Garb for our WonderTwin tunics. Because I love Gwen and Edric. They're amazing humans to some of my favorite people. They also provided the green screen that is behind me, which you can't see because actually I'm just in Dragon Reach in Skyrealm right now. I'm wondering how many video game nerds noticed that earlier. More importantly, honestly, I wanted to give everybody a shout out about an event that's coming up. It's an online event, and I get to play host there. So if watching me make an ass of myself and drink online for 2 hours has been fun for you, I'm supposed to help and play host to this event for like 16 hours over the span of 2 days, like a full weekend. It's called Sparkly and Shiny. It's a live demo and class event series being hosted by the EK Eastern Kingdom Regional Metal and Glass Collective. It's geared towards new skills and like beginner information, some intermediate skills stuff, and glass artisans as well as metal artisans working from home during the pandemic. I think Baby Ninja has a graphic to share. There might be a link as well. It's the weekend of February 13th and February 14th. You can find the link if you need it. Please reach out to me. I will be happy to share it. A bunch of really cool people are going to run a lot of really cool classes and talk about some real ways to get into basic metalwork and glasswork. And it's going to be a ton of fun. I'm also going to drink heavily and make fun of my friends while they teach their classes. So, like, even if you're not into glass, come drink heavily with me. I mean, it seems like a good reason, and then you won't be drinking alone. That's all I got. All yours, Saga.
So I'm going to do 2 shout outs tonight. One is to our sister show, Ask the Knights, because we've always got to pimp them. They have gotten, I think it's like 5 or 6 episodes pre-planned. Also, hey, Knights that watch the show, reach out to Ask a Knights. They are looking for more Knights to be on the show. So ping them. You can find them on Facebook. They're throwing together. It's 2 Knights get asked a bunch of questions about their journey, their path, and their views on the chivalry and what it means to be there. Also, that counts as, Knights and Masters at Arms. Like, get your asses over there, get on the show, help spread your knowledge to the world. This actually, I'm going to have 3. The second show shout out, and it's actually really now kind of a conglomerate, is Calbar's Corner, who is hosting multiple shows now. He's doing an amazing job giving so many people a platform and a voice. I'm super proud of what he's doing, and go check out his page because he's got all the shows on there and is doing some really, really cool things with royalty from around the known world and various other shows. And then my third is check out the event Service Symposium. This is a very large event that's getting organized from the West Kingdom about service within the SCA. Slight little pimp here. I'm going to be teaching a class on hype and like getting event hype out there and marketing. There are so many other amazing classes going on. If you're service minded at all, you should totally check it out. Again, there is a page on Facebook for the Service Symposium. Check it out, like, share, and follow it. And so that's it for the show tonight. So I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to say, Kit, you have been hilarious. And
also important to note, we have 77 likes. That means I'm gonna be giving Thorbjorn 7 treats. If we get 3 more likes, he'll get an extra one. Just saying. You just let me know. And Ask the Knights, like, if you're looking for people, just cool.
Reach out. Be the knight and initiate contact there.
I like to initiate contacts with sticks.
Well, right now we're in a pandemic, so that's not allowed. So you're going to have to send a message. Yeah, but you'd have to fly to California first.
It's true. I would.
So message him and get on the show because that'd be hilarious.
Boom, we're up to 89 likes. Everybody wants to see Thorbjorn get treats.
And also, if we hit over 100 likes, I send a box of treats to our favorite doggo who is on Doggo Cam every time.
Oh, we're in 90. I'm going to, hang on. I'm not going to get a drink. I'm going to get a dog and some treats, and I'm going to break the 3rd wall as my green screen fails miserably, and I stuff treats in my dog's face. Keep talking.
Okay, cool. I'll keep talking. So one of the other shout outs I'm going to put out is remember that we do commercials. We do commercials for shows. We do commercials for music content, and we do commercials for our various SCA vendors. And so if you have somebody that is out there that needs a commercial, we are trying to help those that are, like, the pandemic's affected all of us. So help us help market your friends. Send us in. We have an easy form to fill out. We make a commercial for you, and then we run it on the show. And yes, Anton definitely jacked up his background. And look at the cute Thorbjorn.
Worth it for the dog.
All the treats.
We are 5 treats away. 5 treats away. Or 5 likes away from 100. And me having to order another bag of dog treats.
I can say this. Roxy is not treat motivated, but she is frisbee motivated.
Okay, we hit 100 likes. I will order your dog a frisbee.
There. She will love you forever. Now she went from out cold to like, what?
Yeah, I will Amazon your dog a frisbee. You do need to post proof of said frisbee and doggo for our fans.
Do that.
So we are one like
98.
away, people, from me having to order a frisbee on Amazon. Oh, we've hit 100. Okay. We've hit 100. I'm ordering a box of dog treats. I'm ordering a frisbee. There will be photos that happen for this. Also, I would like to note, if you guys go back and like past episodes too, this still stands. Every time we hit 100 likes on an episode, I have to do this because I like supporting our doggos and our kittens. Thank you very much. We are equal opportunity here. So check out the past episodes, like, share, and follow. Ooh. We're here because you guys keep telling us to show up every week. Next week, I won't be on, but our my amazing co-host Tulia will be on. Her co-host for the week will be Claire, who is hilarious. Oh my god, it's gonna be so good.
Oh, that's gonna be
great.
great.
Guest is Asa. This is gonna be an episode not to miss. So check it out next week, and we will see you all soon.